AI is being used to create damaging, defamatory content, like using someone's real photos to create fake images of them engaging in a crime, or taking a recording of someone's real voice and manipulating it to make them say something offensive. It's called deep fakes. And some of them are done so well, you would think they were real. And it's not just online trolls doing this. Both Democrats and Republicans have used AI in political attacks. Some lighthearted, others not so nice.
This just in, we can now call the 2024 presidential race for Joe Biden.
I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color.
Voting this Tuesday only enables the Republicans in their quest to elect Donald Trump. Your vote makes a difference in November, not this Tuesday.
Well, some of those images you just saw were created by the Center for Countering Digital Hate, a nonprofit organization working to stop the spread of online hate and disinformation. Imran Ahmed is the organization's CEO. His recent report, Fake Image Factories 2, How Midjourney is Failing to Prevent the Creation of AI Images That Threaten Elections, calls for urgent measures to combat misinformation and hold tech companies accountable. So, Imran, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
This is a big deal, right?
I think this is a game changer. And we've seen over the past few years a sort of a growth in the amount of lies in our politics. We've always had politicians who lie.
No.
But what we've seen now is a radical shift in which there are, in fact, lies as sort of the sheer bulk of them almost outweigh the truth.
Right.
And that's making it more and more difficult for voters to make a legitimate choice. Look, here's the truth. We have a right to make a decision, to hold our opinions, and they are protected by the First Amendment on candidates. But we want to know that we are holding those opinions based on facts and on truths. And every time someone spreads a lie, spreads disinformation, spreads a fake image or fake audio of someone, that actually takes away that most sacred and fundamental right. It makes a mockery of it. And we're seeing that grow and grow over time. And now we're seeing AI. Gosh, the cost of production of one of these things is literally zero. And then the cost of distributing it to potentially millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of American people and billions around the globe is, again, zero. And that's a charter for bad actors.
Well, that is a problem. It seems to me like you say that politicians lie, they exaggerate, they manipulate, and that's one thing where we can look at that and we can fact check if we want to. A lot of that's on us. But then if we've got them appearing to say something that they didn't actually say, that's a whole different level.
You know, 20 years ago, if a politician lied, there were journalists whose job it was to show their lies to the public. And frankly speaking, like when someone's caught in a lie, it used to be a big problem. Now there's a tidal wave of disinformation that is overwhelming us. We keep being told you should check your sources, you should fact check. I'm theoretically an expert on these things, but I don't have the time to do that. And that becomes really, really problematic when you're talking about a system in which you can be sitting next to someone and they might hold a belief which is based on a lie, a deep fake, which is completely bonkers, that someone was doing something terrible, that they were cheating on their wife, that they committed a crime, done something terrible. And of course, they've got no basis in fact whatsoever. And that actually, it fractures our society even more. Like I think we've all had enough of Christmases or Thanksgivings where you can't talk to 5 members of the family around the table because they say something completely bonkers. We'd like to have a little bit more truth and a little bit less lies in our politics.
Well, we have a real story about someone who experienced a deep fake. Paul Vallis ran for Chicago mayor, but he narrowly lost by just 4 points in the Democratic primary. And he blames, at least in part, a deep fake recording that sounded just like his voice, but spread a very controversial message that is opposite to everything he stands for. Take a look at this.
These days, people will accuse a cop of being bad if they kill one person that was running away. Back in my day, cops would kill, say, 17 or 18 civilians in their career, and nobody would bat an eye.
I believe that AI is dangerous and can impose a danger to really the democratic process by distorting a person's record. I was a candidate who made public safety a top priority. Chicago's had more murders than any city in the country, more mass shootings than any city in the country. Crime is out of control, and combative leadership is failing us.
Paul Vallis will put crime and your safety first.
Because public safety was such a major issue, someone in support of my opponent was using AI to portray me as dismissive of police shootings. It sounded very much like me. They absolutely did.
We need to stop defunding the police and start refunding them.
The recordings were taken down, but they were up for a couple days, and at the end of the day, about 250,000 people saw it. I believe that the AI deepfake recordings had an impact of 15,000, 20,000 people who voted for Johnson would have voted for me. I'd be running the city of Chicago right now.
Well, Paul, thank you for being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
This demonstrates the danger of this kind of thing. How close to the actual election did this come out?
This came out right before the primary, and so I would say within about 6 weeks. And it wasn't the only video. My son, for example, is a police officer who was involved in a shooting, which was obviously a legitimate shooting. And there was also a deep fake video done of him, too, that had his voice, even though his microphone was broken, and had a picture of somebody who was very well tattooed. Of course, my son has no tattoos. And, of course, that one spread. And I spent about 2 days answering media questions about it, too. So clearly there was this desire to portray my stance on public safety as someone who did not believe in police accountability, and for somebody who kind of simply dismissed the shootings of civilians.
Do you know who created the deep fake?
No.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. And what happens is, even when they take it down, of course, people continue to repost it over and over and over again. So it was a constant reminder. But, it is what it is. I'm an old history teacher, so I like to point out that if you read the ancient historians, when they talk about characters going back 2,000 years, it pretty much sounds like the personalities and the jealousies and the egos that you experience today.
Right.
The problem is, people have been trying to describe or create alternate narratives on their opponents for really centuries. It's just our technology has become more advanced.